you were the host for
Mhm.
plenty of the beatdowns, but
Yep.
from
Yep.
my understanding, you were kind of phased out. Is that a true, or did life, what happened with
Well,
you hosting?
so there was a lot of things that bounced around, and it was all availability. And I know everybody's saying how Kevin Porter is the superpower beatdown and the Bat in the Sun official Batman, and he totally is, but he isn't the only Batman. I've played Batman as stand-ins. Aaron stepped in as Batman. I stepped in as Wolverine for like a couple things too. Like I mean, like little shots, like hands being thrown in. Like all of us have played a character in the series. So I started off hosting. I started traveling. People started taking over. Like Joshua Boltinghouse was our first Batman. Um, and Brian Morton was our first Wolverine. And it just happened because their schedules just got crazy or busy. If I didn't host a beatdown, it was because I was either traveling or I was recovering from surgery at one time. So I missed a beatdown or two for that. Um, but yeah, it started getting to a point where I had rent to pay, and I was putting 12, 15 hours a night into these projects, and then getting up in the morning and working and trying to just trying to make a living. And it just got to a point where either shoots were happening and I just wasn't being told about it, and I was just doing the hosting because it just got to a point where I was just exhausted. I was, like I said, traveling the country doing 26, 29 shows a year on top of just the cons I was going to for fun. Um, Hosting and shooting and doing all that and just really trying to build a career for myself. So it was kind of I don't really won't say like a phasing out as much as just I was busy going one way and Aaron was busy going the other.
Okay, you remember what
Now
you?
if there was anything intentional, then I it wasn't on my part. It wasn't on my part. It was always conversations with Aaron being like, yeah, man, next time we're shooting, you'll have to come out. Just let me know when it is and I'll be there.
Okay,
um and that's kind of how that really is how it happened. And that's kind of happened with Andy Legal. Andy got married, he had a kid, and he had a comic book store that he had to run. So Andy just kind of phased out, but he came back in when we could. um I mean, some of our best banter, like the Darth Vader versus Gandalf episode. Andy was just phenomenal, and that's when we would start bringing other people in. Like we had Damian Potier come in. He played Thanos in the first Avengers movie. He was in Civil. Was he in Civil War? Yeah. I mean, he had scenes with Captain America and Scarlet Witch. He actually fought Scarlet Witch in the scene when the explosion happens, um, and all of the Wakandans die.
okay,
So like we were bringing in experts. We were bringing in just comic book nerds. I would go to comic book conventions and get like Edward James Olmos to talk about stuff like super. It was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But I was still a part of, just not as much as the filming the beatdowns anymore.
okay. So
Eh,
no, not a part of it. Now, from
2000, yeah, 2016, 2017.
2016, 2017.
I think that's when it was because like
Jesus.
when I was pretty much out when Ninjak happened.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
because
I think Ninjak happened 20. I think it came out in 2018, 2019.
something like that, something like that. So yeah, he went off and did his thing. So while I was at Wizard World, um, that's when I think I told you that's when my first convention at Wizard World was Wizard World Chicago Comic Con, and that's where I met Jason David Frank, and that's where all of this is cycling into it.
Okay.
So Jason and I, we became familiar with each other, and he was incredibly close with my boss. Um, she she and he had known each other for years, and she knew so much about Jason's life, and he trusted her. Aaron found out that I was Jason's main host, panel host. So at all the Wizard World conventions, I was his the guy on the panel. So I'd be doing all the moderating for him, and we would talk. I wasn't a huge Power Ranger fan. I was a generation before, but I appreciated it. I loved his energy. The videos of him teaching me kung fu, uh, in a very silly way, are some of my favorite memories. Him introducing me to like Brandon Routh and like getting me in the green room and introducing me. He was a genuinely good human being, and if he liked you, he took care of you. That's just who Jason was.
Yeah.
Um, so to further on this and how Jason got involved with the beatdowns, I would show him like, dude, look what I just put up, or we'd be standing there and someone would come up and be like, would talk to me about the beatdowns, and he was like, who the hell are you to take, like, what are you doing? So I showed him, and he was really interested. He was really, really impressed with what we did, and I get a call from my boss late one night, and she goes, hey, she goes, Jason is asking me about the beatdowns, and if it is something that he would want to be a part of. And she said, I know you would take care of him, so I told him he definitely needs to be a part of this. So
Wait, wait,
the
wait.
next
So
convention.
you introduced Aaron to Jason?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. When I told Aaron that I was working with Jason, and his jaw dropped because Aaron was a huge Green Ranger fan and a Power Ranger fan. Like posters, action figures, all that. He was a hardcore Power Ranger fan. So the second I told him, and I chide him to this day, it was like Smeagol and his Precious. He was like, Jay. It was amazing. It was adorable. It was absolutely adorable.
That's
It was cute. It was cute because it was, and again, I'll say this, it was like me working with Stan Lee. Stan was my hero. He and the stories that he created, the characters he created, have given me a lifetime of enjoyment and stories, and I cannot thank him enough for that. And Aaron was the same way with Jason. He was a fan just like all of you. So I introduced him to Aaron, and they start talking, and that's when we started coming up with the idea of doing the Green Ranger versus Ryu, and that's how Jason got brought into it. It was I befriended him at the Comic Cons. My boss, who was a very good friend with him, was the one who vouched for us, and the work that I was doing at the time, and that's how Jason got brought into Bat in the Sun.
all right.
And the rest with Aaron and Jason is really it's history, because the rest of that stuff was the two of them,
Okay.
really, really, really leaning into it, and it was just a blast. It was just a blast.
All right. Let's get back to the beatdowns. Let's get back to the beatdowns. So
Yeah.
you left around 2019, and
Mhm.
all this AdSense is coming in. Did you make any money from the beatdowns? Like, what did you take home a penny